Hello, everyone. My name's Dawn, and I'm an addict, and I consider it a great privilege to be anywhere, and I am especially grateful to be here with all of you right now. I get to speak with you a little bit about hearing the message inside, but then also carrying it when we're not in institutions. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about my story. Is that I have not been in prison as an adult, but as a juvenile, the state of North Dakota sought to keep me alive, and I had the privilege of being in several state institutions. And I first heard the message of Narcotics Anonymous in one of those institutions. And all I really remembered at the time is it was a bit of a break from what we were doing, but also that it was intriguing to me because they were very excited about this book that they had in their hands, right? And I now know that that's because it was our basic text had just been published about going to meetings, all of that kind of stuff. But I was nowhere near done. I was a punk kid with all the answers. I was terrified of everything, so I acted like a thug. I ran all the time, and I wasn't done. But fast forward 10 years later, when I was about ready to be done, actually 5 years later, I had a period of going to meetings and continuing to use, believing that I was sober, so thinking I was clean, while I was not. I'll just shorten it there. And then what happened for me in 1994 is prior to that, I'd gotten tired, got married, had a couple kids, and left my kids in my addiction. So in 1994, I realized that was it. I'm dead. I'm done. If I do this, it's over. People at my mouth got me in trouble all the time. And I still have that problem sometimes. It just looks different. So I decided to try doing what I'd heard and what I'd been taught to do, or I didn't realize I'd been taught, but I'd heard it enough about going to meetings, seeking to do things different, getting a sponsor. I wasn't really a fan of that because that would involve talking to someone. And then one thing I didn't know how to do was tell the truth about who I was to save my soul. So I had the privilege of getting clean, and I really do believe I am a product of hospitals and institutions, because when I first learned about Narcotics Anonymous was in an institution, and I am so profoundly grateful that I am just so profoundly grateful for all things Narcotics Anonymous, but I am especially grateful that there are people that rise above their fears, they rise above their egos, and they continue to seek to carry the message of Narcotics Anonymous, not their message of recovery. And there's a difference, and that's what I get to talk about. So the message of Narcotics Anonymous that we get to carry in H&I is that any addict can stop using drugs, lose the desire to use, and find a new way to live. And service in Narcotics Anonymous is a privilege, not a right, especially when it comes to carrying the message into our institutions, but also in public relations. And I am grateful for sponsorship that taught me the importance of, I got really nervous all of a sudden. The importance, can you hear me okay? Okay. Taught me the importance of investing in the process, not the outcome. Learning about the do's and don'ts, like why I don't go into a facility and hand out my phone number, why we don't do anything alone. I love that how I've come to really deeply understand anonymity for myself is that nameless, faceless fellowship, but even more so is that equality that we have in the room. We all have the equal opportunity to recover or not. And NA is for those who want it, not necessarily for those who need it. I wish it was for all those who need it, because I'd have less issues with a couple of my children right now. So the thing that I love and that I find so important is to utilize some of the resources. We stand on the backs of those who come before us, our predecessors. We talk a lot about our predecessors, but they have actually left a trail. They have blazed a trail for us. And we each maybe do some things a little bit differently, but that trail exists in our literature. It exists in our H&I basics, our PR handbook, our basic text, living clean, guiding principles. Like we don't have to always, we get to question everything, but sometimes we get to just follow directions. And that's my favorite thing about H&I service, is that, and any service actually in NA, we are far greater than the sum of our parts. And I have been taught that I just am willing to serve. I'm willing to serve, and I have limits and boundaries with some stuff, but for the most part, oh my gosh, my intention, or what I am taught to bring, is those principles and how I live the principles, because our spiritual principles are never in conflict. So when I'm sharing a message in H&I, and much like what's happening for me right now, I am nervous. I've actually spotlighted pinned Patty's video because I'm shaking on the inside and I didn't even think I was nervous. I want to get distracted. But then when I put my feet on the earth and I ground down my higher, right? So when we carry the message into our facilities, whatever that looks like, it's not about us. It's not about Dawn and her recovery and her challenges. It's about the message of Narcotics Anonymous. And that's why you get to speak clear NA language. I don't care what you do in your day-to-day life, but if it's really all about the newcomer, then I'm going to speak a clear message of recovery and Narcotics Anonymous. I'm not going to share anything blurry or confuse the issue, but it also isn't my place to judge. And so I don't know if that's exactly, I'm trying to like make up a little time too, but if that's exactly what we were thinking of, that's definitely not what I planned on talking about. So I know that my higher power was in charge. But I am super grateful for the privilege of connecting with all of you in this good and beautiful way, and for being together on this first day of 2021, Clean and in Recovery. So I get to introduce Kathleen, who will then introduce our panelists. So thank you for letting me share.